Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is 8:30 and that means that it is time for a little tea. Come on, mug. Tea and Wild Thoughts with me, your girl, the beauty influencer. That is 30 minutes of dialogue. Good morning, cuz. What's up, cuz? 30 minutes of dialogue with me, Joy Randall. Getting the vibe right really quickly. Got quite a bit to say this morning, so I am getting ready to go ahead and jump into it. But of course, I'm going to do a little housekeeping first. If you are watching this a little later on YouTube, because this is the live conversation, but I always post these up on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, I would like you to go into the link in my bio here on Instagram. Good morning, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Show your girl some love. It takes a lot to build this content for you guys. And if you are enjoying it, again, support your girl. I also have the self-care store, my line of products. Good morning. That I make myself, all conceptualized from me. This is the Love Potion. As you can see, it is an infused oil with all these lovely ingredients like rose, chamomile, chrysanthemum, lavender. It also has amethyst and rose quartz, rose essential oil. It's just a blend of love. And so if you really want to bring these loving vibes into your life, you need some Love Potion. I myself have really been, it's so interesting that, I listen to different ministers and things, all the time. And they have really been talking about like getting back into anointing yourself with oil. So I really think about my product line when they say that, because I've really been doing a lot with different oils myself. So there we go. Take a sip of this. Holy Basil is what I'm drinking this morning. Brings balance to the mind, body, and soul. It is an adaptogenic, big ass word. Basically, overall cleansing, helps your liver, cancer fighting. It's an amazing herb. So make sure you Google that for yourself and find out what Holy Basil is all about. All right. And I also have a new website coming. Super excited about that too, where you'll be able to find everything a lot easier, everything that I offer. There you go. Okay, so my topic today is talking about dating while being a caregiver. Of course, I'm sharing my own journey. I always share in hopes that it helps provoke thoughts for other people, gives them a voice, gives them I always say, it's nothing like feeling seen and being heard. And this is an interesting part of life that is just rarely talked about. 30 plus folks. And, it can happen at any age. I mean, this is not just relative to age, but the older that we get, we all have parents who are aging, God willing, if we are given that opportunity in life. And nobody talks about this. There definitely isn't like really any guidance there. So, it's a different set of circumstances that we're dealing with the older that we get. And just talking about handling the transitions of our parents and how that affects my life, our life in general. So, I want to say that I should probably call these awarenesses versus challenges. But you get what I'm trying to say. So, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. The first point that I want to make is, the needs. I always have my notes here, so that's why I'm looking down so much. But the needs that someone has as a caregiver are similar to that of someone with like a baby. Except society doesn't make room for old people. So dating doesn't either. What do I mean by that? Again, it's so much easier to say, it's specifically for me being a female caregiver. I definitely don't hear a lot about male caregivers. This role tends to fall on females a lot more because we are just naturally nurturing. Um, but there's no babysitters that are jumping to like take care of an old person. The stories that you, hey Chadwick, the stories that you have about being a caregiver for an older person, they're not cute and cuddly, and so again, society doesn't quite make room, and it's very hard again when you're trying to get to know somebody and just dating somebody and they're hearing about all these challenges that you're going through, whether that's yeah, I had to put my dad in a wheelchair and take him up and down the ramp, or this person, I have to cut up their food, and just all these different stories that you might even have to help them bathe, or it's not as cute and cuddly again as like with a baby, although they have the same needs, they're just going in the opposite direction. So I also think it's very triggering for people. I hear a lot and have heard a lot where people, oh yeah, I remember my mom had to take care of my grandma, or I remember my aunt went through that. And there's nothing wrong with again having those levels of empathy, but everybody's situation is different and their needs are different, so you can't assume. And again, it depending on how dramatic that scenario was for that person, it can be triggering, I think, whenever you're talking about it. And so again, it's similar to someone who has a baby, but at the same time it's on the opposite end, and people don't like thinking about old people and death. And so when that's pretty much your 24 hours a day, and this is the things that you're dealing with, again, when you're getting to know someone in a dating life, of course you're trying to put your best foot forward and you're trying to be positive, and like, this is not your 24 hours. So that is a challenge, i.e. in awareness. And it's just realistic. I mean, I don't think that you should just be blaming people like, they wrong because they can't deal with it. It's just a fact of trying to date while you're being a caregiver. 2, it's challenging to feel present in the moment of getting to know someone new. These needs are similar to having a child. This person's constantly on your mind, even when you're away. And again, this is an adult, this is an older person. And so I think automatically, again, just based on my experience, automatically people who, when you're talking about caregiving for an adult, I think people just assume that that person can do certain things for themselves, that they can, like, why can't you just get somebody else to help you? Why? I personally, I don't have any help. I'm an only child. My father has, a friend who comes by daily, but don't have a lot of people that I can depend on, based on his needs. Again, when somebody is blind and they can't see, I mean, anything that changes in their daily routine can really shake things up, especially when they are limited in their ability to move around and different things. So for me personally, it's constantly on my mind. And it's one thing, to really, really know someone. And it's another thing to kind of like, again, be getting to know someone. And again, just being present in that moment with them, because depending on how much you are into them, because you might not be that into them at the moment. You might be like, okay, I'm trying to get to know you. But again, if there's not that chemistry or connection, you're kind of like, I could be, especially for myself, I run a business as well. It's like, I could be making some products, I could be doing a whole lot of other things and sitting here kind of just babbling and rambling with you. So it gets challenging to be present in that moment. And just, whereas again, if this wasn't my lifestyle and I wasn't a caregiver, I could probably have a lot more mental space, you know, to just kind of sit there and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I really, you know, care about what you're talking about right now. It's just a lot of shit that's on your mind. Number 3, as much as you would even like. Okay, so let me, you know, yes, you know, it gets lonely, it gets stressful. You know, there are moments where I also have chia seeds in my tea. So that's why I'm kind of digging stuff out of my tea. That's really good for you too. Check that out. So anyway, as much as you would like to just have a physical connection with somebody, again, you know, we get lonely. It's very interesting because a lot of times I'll tell, you know, if a guy's hitting on me or something, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I take care of my dad. Like, I really don't have a lot of time to entertain someone. It's like, don't you get lonely? You know, I'm like, you know, yes and no. As much as you would like to just entertain, you know, something on a physical level, I know for a fact, and this is where the awareness comes in, I know for a fact that I need a lot of emotional support in addition to that. Like, it's not going to be absent of the emotional support that I need in this scenario. And so I'm old enough and wise enough to know at this point that when you start connecting your body physically with someone, it's not going to stay one-dimensional. Not for a female. And again, I think that, again, I don't know a lot of male caregivers. It could be different for them. But women don't have the same ability to just disconnect. We're the receivers. And so it's gonna get complicated, and I don't need any more emotional weight or damage in this scenario. Really don't. So it kind of takes that off of the plate. And again, if I'm out here in those freaking sticks, you know, if I'm not even attracted to you on a certain level, like that's just not, I'm not even interested. I have enough on my plate and a lot to do. And then again, you know, being away from that person at night and then just being physical is not something that I'm really just all that interested in right now. But that's me personally. Maybe there's caregivers out there who are like, yeah, I just need to get some stress off. and I've been in that space. But again, that's not where I am now. I've definitely grown and understood a lot more that the emotional support is a requirement as well, especially if we're going to engage physically. And so number 4, just like with kids, you be needing some help. Good morning. You be needing some help. You know what I mean? It's like, again, if you're not going to be able to, I don't expect everybody to come in automatically and take on my burden or my issues. But again, if we're dating and you're interested in me and you're interested in me and getting to know me, and if you want to spend time, sometimes it might be like, yeah, bro, can you run to the grocery store and get this, you know, or just offering, you know, that kind of help. Like, that might be a way for you to slide by and us see each other for a few minutes or something like that, you know. There's a lot of take out the trash. I mean, like, those are just basic things, you know. It's not, and that's just dude stuff, you know, like, that's dude stuff. So if that's something that you can help a sister out with, then yeah. And I find that in this day and time, that kind of chivalry is very rare. It's almost like, and I will say this as well, that for me, being the female caregiver of another man, you know, I find that men in general are always in this like dick swinging competition. You know, it's always like, well, you know, I'm not gonna do that because it's another man. So it just is what it is. I've had to learn to do a whole lot of things on my own, or at least, find those services somewhere else. Because guys don't want to just help. They don't want to just help. And again, if you want to talk to me in my scenario, like, a little help would definitely take you much farther, take you a long way, Might not be that realistic, but it's just where my head is at. Definitely makes it more appealing. Caregivers need help. They need a break. So anything you can do to make that person's life a little easier is always great. That's a challenge and an awareness of dating while caregiving. And then this point as well is that you just be tired. You be tired. Again, I would say it's similar, to how mothers must feel, where you're caring for somebody else 24 freaking hours a day, pretty much. And as much as you want to go and spend that time with someone else and give that attention to someone else, when you don't have to and you have a moment to yourself, you just want it to yourself. You're not even mentally in the headspace to kind of be like, ooh. I mean, even when I was in a relationship, I found myself in the beginning of this, I found myself really struggling at one point with switching these roles. Like, oh, one day I'm super nurturing and, giving caregiving, for my father. And then I'm supposed to turn into this vixen for you. and I'm tired. I'm stressed out. Like, I just need some space to just be joy right now, which is the other side of my brand, where it's like, that's that name, Just Joy. Like, again, if you can't be with me in those deeper moments, in those moments where I might just need some sleep, or, and just, again, being compassionate and considerate of that, doesn't really help. It's not. And with, I will say that it doesn't box you into the place where it's not possible. But again, just being compassionate about that space. And again, with men, I think it's very challenging because it's still a man that you're always giving your attention to. So I think they tend to feel, kind of slighted. And that's understandable. That's completely understandable. It's just the fact in the moment of where I personally am right now. So those are just challenges, awarenesses of what it's like, and even trying to date when you are caregiving for someone. Those are some points. And so, I would say the lessons learned, as with anything, it just requires you to set standards that are in alignment with your present. I don't look at it as, super, it's just changed the way I've looked at dating, period, and what my needs are. And it's not something that I'm willing to, again, just have a warm body around and just... I've also learned there's a huge difference between comforting yourself with a person and finding someone to share uncomfortable moments with. Yeah. It creates codependency if you aren't careful, And again, you've already got a whole set of circumstances that you're dealing with that are challenging. So, you just really want to be mindful. I've had to learn to be very mindful and accountable for, okay, this is where I am right now. And not try to just be a pleaser, in that kind of way. Again, especially as a Black woman in American society, to not just sit up there and say, like, oh, good morning, this is not my lifestyle, or try to hide parts of it. If you want to get to know me, or if I'm interested really in creating a genuine connection with someone, then this is just a part of myself in this space in my life that, they got to be willing to get to know me. And if you're not interested, then that's completely fine. I have enough confidence at this point to be like, all right, can't deal with it. It's not gonna be every person, and I think that really goes across the board. Every person's not gonna have capacity for that. And I would also like to say, a lot of people won't have the capacity to support this process. It's not just going to be in the romantic department. I've also had a lot of friendships challenged by this, and just, again, where my emotional needs are, the compassion that I need from just my support system in general. And some people just don't have that to give. We all have our own lives to live. I've learned to really not take it personal. But again, when you are caring for someone else 24/7, hopefully what it does is creates more compassion in you for other people who need that type of compassion, and learning your own boundaries, learning how to really communicate, like, hey, don't have it to give you right now, or hey, this is what I'm needing right now, or I just need an ear, or whatever it may be. Again, it takes, you set the standards, but it takes the expectations off of other people and just puts that accountability back on self to learn how to really communicate and say, this is what I'm needing right now. So my recipe and my way of dealing with it is to get fine as hell in the process, and just use the free time that I have. I work out, I work on my skin, I work on my health, I do self-care, I work on my business. And until, I fall into alignment with someone that, I feel comfortable with, that's what I'll be doing. And, that's what we should all be. That's what we should all be, really. If you're single and, dating or looking to date, just keep becoming who you want. And I know that I'm not an average person. I would think that I'm fairly rare. So it's going to be a rare person. It is what it is. So I'm going to share. Hold on. Also makes me more aware that I need someone. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I'll also say that the experience of caregiving has also made me really, really aware that I also want somebody who takes good care of themselves. After this process is done, whenever that may be, I'm in no rush for it, but I'm not looking to take care of somebody else on this level. I think sometimes men mistake that too. Like, oh, if you're not taking good care of your health, that has become a lot more of a turn off for me. Not looking to become another caregiver in the next phase of my life. Not in that type of way. I would be willing to, of course. You never know what's going to happen in life or with another person. But yeah, I need you to be making every effort possible to keep yourself well. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, need to match that. All right. So the wild thought of the day is look for people to have consistency with instead of people to share moments with. Then you will see who's really for you or just for the moments you provide with them. Again, I have a whole lot more respect and just gratitude for all the friends and people that I've known who've been able to grow with me and keep the consistency with me through this process. Especially, you guys who even show up to this conversation. I'm just super grateful for that and for you. There are people who, again, you can't control people's intentions. All you can do is really, again, be mindful and accountable for who you are, what you bring to the table, and the standards that you're setting for yourself. And that vibe is gonna bring and attract other people like yourself. It's gonna attract some people who are not like yourself, but you'll be able to use your discernment and see the difference. And so, especially as a person who had a lot of success in my makeup career, as that phased out, a lot of those people phased out when something much more serious like caregiving came around, and came into my life. So, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for people to kind of come in and out, but look for those people to be consistent with. You never know what life is going to bring. You just don't. And any of those, 20-somethings who may just grace this this conversation, and again, I never in a million years thought that I would be here to caregiving for my dad. I was living my best life, as a makeup artist. Nobody freaking thought Corona was gonna show up. So you gotta find people to have consistency with, who, as the moments come and go, that, you have something stable to tap into. That is where your real support is coming from. So, yeah, these are the challenges, awarenesses I have come up with and understand and experienced since caregiving, and just what dating looks like at this point. Of course, ideally, it would have been nice to be, I can't even say married, but okay, let's just say for intents and purposes, married and in a stable relationship, and all this have happened, and have somebody to kind of go through these things with. But again, just for me personally, I don't think that I would have been as available for my father had that been the scenario either. So, and it's really promoted a lot of my own healing and just things that I needed. And again, just to continue to become who I want, who I really deep down in my soul want to be with as a partner in the future. It has really allowed me to get to that place. So we'll see what the future holds. I am not bitter in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Good morning, love. I am just starting to wrap up, and I will post this here on IG. I will also post this on YouTube. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe. We have a lot more content that is coming. I'm super excited about everything that's going on and the progress. You guys have been showing a lot of love to the self-care store too. Got some orders I need to get out. Again, this is the love potion, and it has the rose, lavender, lotus oil in it as well. It really smells really amazing. So you can use it almost like a perfume too. It really does smell good. So you guys check that out, www.justjoy.store, and enjoy your Tuesday. I hope that everybody is faring well as we start to merge back into the new normal. I call it the new normal because things are never going to be the way that they were before. So enjoy your Tuesday, and I will see you next week, God willing. Thank you, Miss Tiffany. See you next week, God willing. 8:30. I'll be here for Tea and My Thoughts. Peace.